couldn't sleep for weeks after the shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in December 2012. My daughter's third grade teacher was dead. My neighbor's kids were dead. My community was reeling. I needed to ride. I called some cycling teammates and competitors, and as soon as the snow melted, 26 of us set off to Washington, D.C. That was 3 years ago. Since then, Congress has done nothing to pass gun laws that will make us safer. So we're riding again.
Today and over the next few days, our call for change is carried forward by our bike messengers. These 26 intrepid souls, in spandex nevertheless, will journey through towns, cities, and villages with 14 stops to join up with others of like mind.
According to the CDC, there are 92 firearm deaths every single day in this country. Think about that. Between now and the time that we arrive in Washington, 368 Americans will lose their lives because of a firearm. In Newtown, we know too well the impact on families and the community. And by doing this ride, if we can prevent just one of those deaths, the ride is worth it.
So why did I get up on a Saturday when I could have been at home with my son and my husband to send off these riders, many of whom I've never, ever met before? On behalf of my husband, Jimmy, my son, Isaiah, and my daughter, Anna Grace Marquez Green, we have a message for you. Ride on for the truth that will set us free. Ride on for remembering our lives as they should be. Ride on in love, confident that your voices are being heard. Ride on, we see you. Ride on, speaking truth to power. And lastly, I wrote to Anna, sweet caramel princess, I know you didn't get to live in Sandy Hook very long, but look at all these people who haven't forgotten about you. Send your purple sparkles down towards them and try to keep the bad weather away. We love you. We miss you dearly, sweetie girl. Life will never be the same. Love, Mom.
I'm not gonna lie, today was a really rough day on the bike. I'm starting now to feel my feet again, which is a good thing, and I thank you. I think it's the warmth of the room and the love we're getting from all of you, so thank you.
I'm Rebecca Feldman. Just left office here in Morristown after 8 years, the last 2 as the president of the governing body. But I'll tell you, in my 4th year in office, Gabby Giffords was shot. And I came into this room every other Tuesday night wondering if we were all going home. And that's just not how any of us should live.
Thank you. Thank you for the incredible testimony, your incredible effort today. I believe that the moral arc of the universe bends towards love and justice, but only if we have the hearts, if we have the hands, if we take the footsteps to bend it towards love and justice. I don't want to live in a place where houses of worship, where community centers need to check everyone for guns on the way in. We must have community spaces where all are welcome, where all are valued, and where all know that they will be safe.
What's going on with gun violence in America has to stop. Things that cannot continue don't. And you're the reason it's going to change.
Monty, we wanted to give you a Philadelphia greeting. So we collected a bag. It has many goodies from Pennsylvania, from Hershey candy bars to Tasty Cakes, but it also has those Philadelphia soft pretzels we all love down here. This is for you. Thank you.
Of course, a couple cheesecakes would be okay, too.
We'll see what we can do.
We saw some of your Pennsylvania potholes. We got around them. We got hit by by the wind as we came by on the Lincoln Parkway. And there certainly was a lot of pain and suffering riding through the cold and rain yesterday. And why do we do this? Because enough is enough. According to the latest Quinnipiac poll, 89% of Americans favor requiring a background check on all gun sales. It is unfathomable that Congress continues to defy the will of the American people, and in doing so remains complicit in the carnage that occurs in our nation due to gun violence. So we ride for the 89% of Americans. We ride for the majority of gun owners who want background checks, but whose voices are being drowned out.
After Sandy Hook, I swore that something was going to happen, that the soul of Americans would rise up and change the paradigm of what we're dealing with. And when nothing happened, after all the sadness and the tears and those babies that were slaughtered, nothing happened. And I'm wondering if somehow we didn't lose our soul somehow along the way. Because in the end, this is all about greed. It is they've convinced, the NRA's convinced people the Second Amendment is what's at stake. And it's not what's at stake. There's plenty of guns in this country, and no one wants to take anybody's long rifles away so they can't hunt. But children are hunting down children in our city. And without the gun, all you have is a fist fight. And we can recover from a broken nose or a black eye. You can't recover from a gunshot. Can't do it.
We're here to let the moms know, from Moms Demand Action, from Sandy Hook, and everybody to know, we are tired too. Enough is enough for us. We are tired of going to funerals. We are tired of going and speaking to moms and letting them know, we know what you're going through. We should not have to go through that. We should not have to beg our politicians to sign these bills. We shouldn't have to do that. We're tired of doing it. We stand with Team 26. We stand with them. They're going to ride, but we're going to stand with them. We stand with Moms Demand Action. Mothers in charge are standing here. We're tired. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Enough is enough. Let's get together, people. Let's get together. We don't want 26 more cyclists the ride.
We invite anyone in our audience here today, any of our attendees who are survivors, who have lost a loved one or a dear friend to gun violence, to come up here on the stage and join with Team 26.
Watch our wheels, watch our backs, watch our front, the side, top to bottom. Watch the drivers. Watch everyone today. The people who come out to see us. Let the word spread.
Obviously, it's been raining. The roads are slippery. It's 45 degrees out, so there shouldn't be ice, but Bill said there was some ice in the parking lot, so just give each other a little more room. We'll take it easy on descents. Yeah.
Watch the white lines.
Yeah, watch the white lines. We are not in a rush right now. We're leaving early so we don't have to rush. We will stop before we get to Delaware.
Well, thanks for welcoming us to your city, and glad to be back in Delaware. And thank you all for your work on all these people. Really thank you. Thank you.
Are you Monte?
I am.
Nice to see you. College here.
Hey, Mayor. How are you? Hey, Governor.
How you doing? Good to see you.
This is our main drag. Wow. Team 26, welcome to the City of Newark and to the University of Delaware. I commend you for your courage and your passion to raise awareness of gun violence epidemic in our country. Universal background checks and keeping guns off the University of Delaware campus and our K through 12 schools in Newark must be a focus of our municipalities and our state government.
I was saying to a couple of you, I will be out of office next year. We have term limits in Delaware, and so maybe if I could ride the whole way with you next year, I'm gonna see if I can do that.
The organizers of this event are really hyping up having a student from Newtown speak, which makes me a little bit uncomfortable because I could really be anyone. My story isn't unique. In my high school class alone, there are 400 other kids who could be up here right now, some of which who are in the audience right now. Or it could be someone from Chardon, Ohio, or San Bernardino, or Columbine, or Wilmington, Delaware, or downtown Baltimore, or the streets of DC, the list goes on. I'm far removed from the shooting, and yet still I'm broken from this. I'm just a lifeguard at the town pool, and many of these kids were my favorites. James, Daniel, they were just little kids. And I'm just one person who loved them because of our national obsession with firearms and the ease in which anyone can access them, even military-grade weapons like the one that came to Sandy Hook School. I'm forever changed. When anyone can buy a gun online, at a gun show, or in the trunk of a car, when anyone can easily access a military-grade weapon that is designed and marketed to kill as many people as possible, we can't be surprised when it does just that, even if it is a classroom of elementary school kids.
We were about 35 miles out of Baltimore, and Mark radios to Andrea and says, "You're not going to make it. Why don't 5 of you guys split off? You got an hour and 45 minutes to do 34 miles." And we looked at each other and said, "It's possible." At about 10 miles, I started hitting a wall. And then I began to think back at all the moms that we've met along the way. And I thought about the moms I've met in Chicago, Maria, and Chandra, and Cleo, and the moms I've met from Aurora, Karen, and Sandy, and the moms we've met throughout the country. And the one thing I kept thinking about was when you hug a mom who's lost a child due to gun violence, whether you're in Newtown or in Baltimore or in Chicago or in Detroit, it's the same hug. And the problem is, I'm getting way too many of those hugs.
Last year in Baltimore, we lost 344 lives to violence. 90% of last year's homicides were the results of fatal shootings. More than 90% of the homicide victims were boys and men, like me. And more than 90% of them were black, like me. Just last week, as I was registering people to vote for the upcoming election, I found myself in the middle of a crossfire. I ran from gunshots. I saw another person dead on the ground. Only one person was dead, but there were 23 gunshots. One of them could have hit me. Many people would say that my life has transformed for the better, and it has, but in many ways it stayed the same. My name is just as likely to appear printed in the newspaper tomorrow morning in the list of recent casualties.
And whereas the citizens of Baltimore welcome Team 26 to our city and wish them the best of luck on the last leg on this meaningful journey. Therefore, I, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, Mayor of the City of Baltimore, do hereby proclaim April 11, 2016 as Sandy Hook Ride on Washington Day in Baltimore, and do urge all citizens to join in supporting legislation to curb gun violence. Thank you so much.
Woo-hoo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's try going down one more.
Folks, I need you to clear that ramp, please. Folks, I need you to clear that ramp, please.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Great job. Good to see you. Congrats.
Thank you, Senator Murphy. Thank you, Senator Blumenthal and Representative Esty. I'm proud to lead the men and women of Team 26. They are true champions of change. 2 years ago in Harlem, Councilman Jumaane Williams implored us to ride on until people hear you and they understand that there are children dying in the streets. So we rode on, and last year we rode again, and we're back, and we'll keep coming back until Congress acts. Because this is America's team. We are America's bike messengers. On Saturday morning, we were given a petition by the Campaign to Keep Guns Off Campuses, which now has been signed by over 39,000 Americans in all 50 states. And we were asked to deliver that to Congress and to the White House. And so we'd like to present to Senator Blumenthal, Representative Esty, and Senator Murphy the petition, and we ask you to finish what we started and bring it to the floor of Congress. We ride because we promised that we would continue to honor the 26 children and educators we lost in Newtown. We made the same promise to the many victims' families in Baltimore, Bridgeport, Harlem, Philadelphia, and the District of Columbia. While we established Team 26 for Newtown, Team 26 could just as easily be named for a random weekend in Chicago. In fact, gun violence is so prevalent that we could be called Team 26,000, and that number would fall short of the number of gun deaths in America each year. Following the shooting at the Sandy Hook school, we were told that we were wasting our time in trying to press Congress to enact gun violence prevention laws. We were told that the kinetic effect would fade away. They could not have been more wrong. The Connecticut effect is now the American effect. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent on things that matter." Reducing gun violence matters. And for Team 26, our many partners, and this growing movement to make America's children safer, our lives have just begun. We will not be silent. We will ride on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to thank Team 26 for their courageous efforts to continue the call for this House and this body to take responsible action to end the scourge of gun violence in this country.